Hello, welcome to another episode of Daniel Lee Plastering and Rendering. In this video, we'll be taking you through the steps involved to fix plasterboard over this damaged brickwork. So this room was fully plastered, it was old, tired and damaged. The customer removed everything back to bare brick, and we will be fixing dot and dabbing, as it's called, new plasterboard. It basically means mixing up a very thick adhesive and sticking the plasterboards onto the walls to give us a lovely flat surface to then apply the plaster. So today we are going to dot and dab all these walls. So this is an old existing bedroom that was in need of renovating, modernising. So all the existing plaster has been removed by the customer really well, I should add. See, back to brick, because this is a renovation one, they're going to be very dusty, they're going to need priming. We are then going to basically glue plasterboards onto the walls, and then we will fully plaster. The customer has plasterboarded the ceiling for us, which has been done very nicely. Good enough. And yeah, so we're just getting the protection down now. I've talked about protection before, covering the carpets. You can see this is a lovely cream carpet running all the way through the customer's beautifully finished, furnished house. And we do have public liability up to 10 million, but we don't want to use it. Oh, I do love my van. Nothing fancy, but it is a lovely size. That's some red carpet protector. So I say carpet protector, technically multi-surface protector. So the red stuff that I get, this is for low tack, so this will go over tiled floors, hardwood floors, anything like that. The clear stuff you saw a moment ago, that is sticky carpet protector. Do not use that on tiles or wood floors. Okay, and now back to protecting the room. So even though this room will be fully carpeted once we've finished, and there's lots of more painting and decorating, we still fully protect the wooden floorboards. Now this can be sometimes a sheet of tarpaulin will do. We'll just tape it down the edges. But I find the clear up at the end of the day or job so much easier if you just take the extra time at the start just to fully protect everywhere. So crucial in my opinion. And now you can see I'm applying the primer over all the brickwork. Now because this has been removed, it's not a new build would have fresh clean bricks, so you don't always need to prime the walls in a new build if this was a brand new house. But because this is an old house, the plaster's been removed, it's very dusty, very dry. The primer will help get rid of all the dust, all the loose debris, also seal up the bricks a bit, so the adhesive will be allowed to dry naturally. Whereas if it's too dry, what can happen, this is with plaster and adhesive, the porous bricks that are really dry absorb the moisture so rapidly that they pull the water and moisture out of the adhesive, and it can cause it to crack and lose its power. It'll also sometimes, you'll see later how many dabs we're using on these walls. The dusty layer can also cause it not to stick and sometimes plop off the wall, which is just an annoyance really more than anything. So yeah, very important to prime all your walls. It dusts them and also seals up so that the suction of the adhesive can dry how it's meant to dry, so it can just cure in its own time. So now all the primer's done, it's time to load up the plasterboard and plasterboard adhesive. And you can see there's 14 sheets in the van there, that should do all the walls. And I've got 7 bags of drywall adhesive. So the specification is 1 bag of drywall adhesive does approximately 2.5 boards. These are 2.4 metre boards by 1.2 high. We've whipped them up here. That was not as easy as I made it look. And now using our super duper tools, Stanleys, tape measures, spirit levels, gloves. These are our crucial key tools to start with this dot and dabbing process that helps us measure and cut the boards, quite self-explanatory. And our super duper DeWalt mixing drills worth a mention. So on this one we're going to mix up 3 bags at a time. That will allow us to get a decent chunk on. Belts are handy. I must admit I've fallen out of the habit of using belts these days, but my brother Chris, he loves them. So we are now ready to start mixing. So we will mix up 3 bags and then get dot and dabbing. So we are ready to go. You may have noticed, I don't know if you saw that in the blur that was us mixing, but we pre-measure the wall so we know roughly where each board comes to. That will allow us to put up the dabs. So what you don't want is the dabs too close to the edge so that they then ooze through the side. But you will dab, as you can see here, a full perimeter around the top, both sides, top and bottom. And then as per specification, I know there's a little bit of disagreement with this. I mean, there are more than one way to do these, but as per specification on the website, the drywall website, they actually specify, I think it's a full, I think they say 20% coverage, but it's the picture that they show is basically a full perimeter with 2 full strips top to bottom, exactly as you can see. And in this instance, what I like to do, I will dab up the entire wall, bearing in mind my brother is here as well, so he's behind me cutting the boards in preparation. Although this wall, we've started with the easiest wall, if you like. It's just 3, I think it's 3 and a little bit boards, so 3 full boards with a thin strip in the corner. And Chris will come up behind me, sticking the boards on. Once I've got out of his way, basically. And I found this way quite efficient. There's the more experienced you become, the more ways you learn to do the exact same job. I find the people that say, oh no, you shouldn't do that, you should do this, tend to be the inexperienced ones that have been recently taught one particular method, and then because that's all they know, that's obviously exactly what they think. But with plastering, just like many of the other trades, there are so many different ways to achieve the same result. It's all about making sure it lasts, it's going to serve its purpose. And I mean, as we guarantee all our work, we don't want ours to fail, so we would rather go above and beyond. I know some people think that this is far too many dabs, but remember, the actual bag specifies that one bag of adhesive should only do 2.5 boards. So if you're mixing up a bag of adhesive and you're getting on 3-4 plus boards, that is half the adhesive it recommends. So we personally don't do that. So the wall is now ready to have the board stuck on, and the first board, as you can see there, I'm holding the spirit level to the side. We use packers to keep it off the floor to give us a little bit of leeway, so I like to get that side level. And we also, so we use plasterboard packers for 12.5mm plasterboards, but just to fine tune the just to sort of get it spot on, we actually use carpenter's door packers as well, so the little plastic packers you can buy in the big bags. That allows us to sort of get it a bit more precise, and then lining up that first board nice and level should just make all the other boards follow suit. And you can see here it's quite common. The ceiling isn't quite level, it's got a little bit of bows in it, nothing at all to worry about. It's relatively minor, but having sort of leveling up that first board gives us sort of the confidence, sort of allows us to see that the boards are good, they're flat, they're straight, they're level. The little gaps at the top, as you can see there, it's sort of nothing to a little gap at one side is just the existing ceiling. I mean, it's not a new house, and wood timbers move, like it's completely normal, and it'll have fibre tape and plaster over the top and won't be a problem at all. So I will, as we stick the boards on, very crucial to first I sort of tap all the boards in, make sure they're secure, and then I will check the upright level to make sure they're level from floor to ceiling, nice and vertical, and then horizontally. Now crucially, when dot and dabbing and leveling plasterboards, is the cove line that you see I'm doing there. They may not have coving, but if they do, it wants to be nice and straight. I like to, well, the centre line, but also the skirting line, because they will have skirting, and the flatter and more level I can get these walls, the easier the next trade will find doing his part. So if we all do our best and all try and get it, the same goes for the bricklayer. So I know this is an old house, but the better the brickwork is, the easier it then is for me to then dot and dab nice level boards. Another thing I will say, when using the amount of adhesive that I've used, because I have used less in the past, before sort of years ago, and I found when you use more adhesive, it's actually much easier to level the boards. So that's another reason why you might want to use, especially if the boards have a little bow in them. Sometimes that happens if they've not been stored perfectly flat, or maybe they've been stored perfectly flat on the floor, but it's a timber floor that's wobbly. That's happened to us before, where we've stored them nice and flat on the floor, thinking we're safe, lifted them up and realised there's a subtle bow in the floor, so every board's had a slight bow in it. But if you use plenty of adhesive, it's very rare that I can't get them nice and straight using enough adhesive. Occasionally you're going to get a board that's so bowed you just don't want to use it. And there you have it. That is now one fully dot and dabbed room. If you found this useful in any way, please subscribe, as we post these regularly. And like and comment if you have any questions at all. I'm always happy to answer them. And see you on the next one. Have a great day.